Hey guys, it's Alisha. Welcome to Life with Alisha, the podcast. We're here for episode 1. I have Karina here that's going to be interviewing me just to see what the podcast is going to be about, what's been going on in my life. Karina and I have worked together on a lot of projects in the past, and we went to school together, so I thought it was perfect. So, what you been up to?
I haven't been up to anything, but I have to start by saying thank you for having me.
Yeah.
This is something I've been wanting to do, and it literally fell in my lap. So, and I also feel like this is like a full circle moment for us. Like Alicia stated, we have been working with each other for a while since college days.
And that was a long time ago.
A long time ago, not that long though. We still in our prime, but yeah, since college days, and it's been amazing. Like you always been like a hard worker, so I'm very happy to see like this project come to life. And I thank you for letting me be part of it.
Well, thank you.
Yes. But no, I haven't been up to anything, but we're going to get into what you've been up to because we've missed Alisha and who she is and where she's been. So we're going to get into it. The first thing we want to know is tell us about yourself. Where are you from?
Yeah. So, I grew up, I'm from Germany. Mm-hmm. Then we moved to Columbia, South Carolina. That's basically where I spent all my youth. Love the Met. There's a lot of things that come out of it, a lot of good people, a lot of talent. I think sometimes the Met has like this bad stigma of being like ghetto or whatever. And so I love it, but you gotta leave.
Right.
And so when I went to college, I went to Winthrop, which is only an hour away. Went to Winthrop. And yeah, I loved my experience at Winthrop. Just the whole like experience of just being around people who were creatives and people who were from Columbia too, so it wasn't like too unfamiliar.
Right.
But yeah, that's basically where I'm from and just like what has shaped me into the creative person that I am, I think.
So what did you study in college? Like when you got to college, what was it that kind of sparked your interest in whatever, made you start?
So first I wanted to be a special education teacher. Like that was it. Yeah, that was it.
Didn't know that.
I wanted to be a special education teacher. In high school, I worked with all the special needs kids, like did internships and stuff. But my first semester, I quickly realized it's not what I wanted to do long term. It was like I was sad every day. It was just like not really what I wanted to do. And I've always wanted to be a hip hop journalist. Like since I was a little kid, like I had the XXL magazines, like that. I wanted to do that, but nobody in our community, like home, was anything like that except for like the radio station. And that's what like 5 people all, in South Carolina.
Right.
So nobody talked about what you can do to get there. So I didn't know it was possible. So once I got to Winthrop and realized that is a possibility, then I switched my major and I did mass comm with focus in journalism. I think that's what it was called.
Yeah. So I know the story. So fun fact, guys, like I said, we've said this already, but we went to school together. My senior year, I had to do the internship with South Carolina Educational Television. And I had to do a final project and produce my own story. And you mentioned, hip-hop journalists. Yeah. So I want you to tell us, I did my story on her. Yes. So I want you to tell us a story about, like, where your love for hip-hop came. Yeah. And your college experience. Right. So kind of go into that.
So hip-hop has always been, like, a fighting force. I'd say it gave me the confidence that I've needed, like, all throughout life. Just the way that I walk through life is just, like, hip-hop. And it was probably my junior year in junior or senior year in college. I can't remember exactly, but it was Christmas break, and I was just like, I just want to educate people on hip hop. Like that's just what I wanted to do, and I was just like, F it, like I'm just gonna do it, and if people rock with it, then people rock with it. Right. And so I started off with doing like one event where I talked about the history of hip hop, or just like something specific in that area, and it was just so successful. So successful.
You had
like
every event
was packed like
crazy.
To one, I remember
people really rocked with it.
Yeah,
it was really good.
I mean, it helped it being a cultural event, but it was a cultural event that people wanted to go to, and people that didn't need the credit anymore still went.
Right. Yeah.
So and then the love from it came from my dad. Just like he was working regular jobs, but he was still producing at night, not getting any rest from that. And he just always had music around us all the time. And it's just, hip hop has a negative stigma, but it's just so much positive in it too. And it's just, I don't know, it just gave me all the confidence that I needed, like, throughout life. Like, there's always a song that can get me through what I need to get through.
I feel that. I like hip hop, but I'm like an R&B girl.
R&B and that's okay.
Yeah, but I do like
there's some crossover in that too, though. So, that's good. Not as much now, but back in the day,
yes.
it
was. So tell us about kind of like what shaped you, like what your environment, your father, I'm sure, like who and what shaped you into Alisha today?
Yeah, I would say what shaped me is definitely my dad, and my mom when it comes to work ethic. They're both like extreme hard workers, and you can be working at a very simple job and get moved up so fast just because you're just a natural hard worker.
Right.
And I've always been like that, and I think I get from my dad not wanting to be in a one stage in my life. Like, I always want to be better, and my mom is just like always, even though I have a kid, like she's always like, put yourself first, like keep going, like do projects, do what you really want to do, and like don't let anything stop you. So my parents have so much to do with that, but so do like my siblings, with just like always wanting better for ourselves. Like, we didn't grow up with everything, but we didn't feel like we grew up with less because we had so much love and so much support from our parents. So it's just like, just wanting to always be better. Yeah. And then my husband, Jarrell, like, he has never stopped working. Like, he's also the definition of hard worker. And seeing him and accomplish things, but not be satisfied, and not be like, still good job, but keep going. And then I'm like, he does not let me, he doesn't say like, why are you not doing this? Why are you not doing that? He's just like, he just naturally makes me want to be like better and keep going.
So you're surrounded by it, which is great. So tell us about what life was after college.
So life after college.
Where you been?
So graduated 2018. We're in 2023 now. I went to Charleston because my mom was living there, but so Jarrell. So when I first graduated from college, I did get an internship to go work in New York at Rock Nation. And I knew like the only way that I could really have the career that I wanted in hip hop or in music was to sacrifice my relationship, because we had been long distance for like 45 years, and I was so over it. And so I was like, I'm gonna just take a break, go down there. And I was working, still doing projects and stuff, but I went to Charleston, lived with Jarrell, and then 2019, Jarrell got drafted into the NBA, and then we got engaged. I moved to Utah.
Ooh, girl. Life didn't stop.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It still hasn't. That's like the hard part. But in Utah, as I wanted to still do what I was doing with hip hop. Hip hop makes me feel, but not there being any people of color there. That was like not helping, but also it's just like no hip hop culture there. There is a little bit, but there wasn't anybody there that could really like surround myself around that can like motivate me and keep going. It was a different environment. And life after college is already hard when you're not around the people that you're always around. And so Utah, we stayed there for 2 years. I got pregnant. And then it's just like life just kept going. And life just kept moving really, really, really fast. We've been in so many different places. It just kept going, and like I've always been motivated to do something, but what is my reach now? What is my audience now? Because it's
like
changed.
Starting from scratch. Because life has shifted.
And then as you get older, it is harder to put yourself out there again.
Yes, it is.
Like in college, like there's nothing, you don't have anything to lose.
In college, we all trying to make it. Like we all trying to figure it out.
We was doing anything, not anything, but we was like down for whatever.
And testing the waters, basically.
And whatever flows, it flows. But when you're older, and if you're putting money into it, you want it to work. And I just felt so much pressure. And then I felt so much pressure of like getting back into it that I was just like, I don't know. And whatever I did put out, I wanted it to be a complete thing. I've had so many things that I'm like, oh, I'll do it. And I did a little bit, but then I'm like, okay, no.
Do you think it was pressure, like pressure from you, like you were pressuring yourself and not from like other people, or just knowing that you knew you could do it, so you need to do it?
I think it's like the pressure of, I was so successful with hip hop makes me feel like I was really, really, really successful with that.
Yeah.
And I think knowing that I could have that and having that at one moment and it being instant, like it was pretty instant. So even though I had been working hard my whole life, that was like so instant. And then I was just like scared of how to exactly make something pop naturally. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like as an artist who puts out a poppin' song and then it just like skyrockets and then the next, everything else is just not it, because it's just like the pressure of like making it exactly like the thing that worked. So I was always like, what's gonna work? Yeah. So I think it was pressure from the outside, but not anybody saying anything to me. It was just more so like, I know what people know my potential.
Yeah. And you know your own potential too. Like I feel like
exactly right.
Pressuring yourself is a thing. Like knowing you can do all these things. And it's like, if I just get it together and do it, like it's fine. Yeah. So yeah, I totally understand that. So within this last year, how would you say your life has changed the most? How old is Gabriella?
She's 2 now. She turned 2 in January. Yeah.
Okay. So this past year then.
Yeah.
How would you say it's changed?
So much, because like even just like last year, as in 2022, we experienced so many different places, Russia, Puerto Rico, like just so many different places. And then we went to New Zealand. And so leading up to New Zealand into 2023, it's just, I don't know. It's like when I was in New Zealand, we're dealing with like me being sick, Gabriella being sick. And it was just like, I wasn't brushing my hair. I wasn't taking care of myself because I was just like doing it all. You were burnt out. Doing it all. Yeah. And I'm like, but I knew that I wanted to do this. So still trying to find that like balance of everything. So it's like in the last year, I would say my life has changed in the fact of just like trusting God and keep going. Yeah. Like just worry about today and not like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get this done? How am I going to get that done? How is this going to work? Just go day by day. And that's how my life has changed. Like trusting God has like been a huge change. Like you always can say you trust God, but do you really when it's like,
when you shit get rough?
Yeah.
Can we curse?
Yeah, I mean.
When shit get rough, do you really trust God? Yeah.
And are you okay with the plan that's put in place? Like if you're okay with his plan, are you sure?
Right.
Because I thought I had my life planned out when I was in college. I knew exactly how things were going to go. I couldn't imagine where I'm at right now, that it being what it is. Right. Like, no, like
nothing close to what you're thinking.
Yeah. Nothing close, but yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so we want to get into like the family part. I know you said Gabriella was 2.
Yes.
Time moves so quick. I feel like you just posted pictures when you were, pregnant with her.
I know.
So tell us about how you met your husband.
Yeah, so Jarrell and I met when we were in high school. We met our freshman year, but we didn't start dating until like junior year. And then it's funny because just the other day he mentioned like, I remember when we were in high school and he used to always go on AAU trips. So AAU was like going on the weekends. So we never really like did anything. Yeah. And I was like, why do you always have to go? And it like prepared me for now.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Always gone.
Full circle moment. Literally. That's crazy.
So now so we met in high school, started dating. He went off to go play basketball out at a private school in Virginia, Maryland. And so we stayed together through that. And then I went to Winthrop. He had to do 1 year of prep school. So he was in Massachusetts. We never saw each other throughout that time. And then he went to College of Charleston. And College of Charleston, actually, funny story, College of Charleston was my first choice. I got waitlisted. And it worked out, whatever. Yeah. But we always joked about, like, what if you get offered by College of Charleston? Like, you better not go, because that's, like, where. But, yeah, he ended up going to College of Charleston. And it worked out because it was only, like, 3 hours away from me. So I would drive on the weekends and stuff. So I made that sacrifice. And, like, throughout that time in college, we've had breaks. And we've, like, just because we were young and we were both making a lot of sacrifices, but at the time, my sacrifices to me felt so extreme. And I'm just like, I'm always driving down there. And I'm the woman, and as much as he takes, like now he's takes care of me like there's no question about it. But during that time, I wanted to be able to, like, you just take me out to dinner and stuff like that. And that wasn't possible unless I went to go down there. Right. So, but yeah, so I'm glad that we stuck it out. Like, I mean, at one point, I thought we were done. And we got back together and, like, it worked out perfectly. But got engaged, got married, and it's great. Yeah.
What was it like being with, I mean, I know you said high school. Yeah. So, like, one person your whole life.
Yeah, basically. So before I started dating Jarrell, I dated a lot. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I was experiencing that sense, but that's still so young. Yeah. Like, that's so young. And it was like, but it was still good because I was never that type of person that, like, I'm an emotional person, and friends or whoever I talk to or have a relationship with, I'm pretty, not intense, but I don't hide much. So I think it worked out that I was just only with one person emotionally too, because it can be, like, hard to keep giving and giving and giving. Yeah, that makes sense. You know what I mean? And learning someone. Like, I even say now, God forbid anything ever happens, I can't imagine having to, like, relearn someone. And I don't mean, like, learn what they like, learn what they don't like. It's like learning how to communicate with them and all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I think, I could have been with more people, but at the same time, that sounds exhausting to me because I want to get to know people, like, for them as a person. Right, yeah. Outside what they are for everybody else. So I think that would have been, like, more exhausting for me, like, to date more than just what I had. Yeah.
So what was it like when he got drafted to the NBA? How is that, like, professional athlete, right?
Yeah,
in the AAU, y'all were kind of barely seeing each other. Long distance college, and now here we are NBA. So what was that like?
So from college to NBA, it was different on so many different levels, because in college, Jarrell was one of the main players all throughout college. Yeah. And then you get to the NBA and you're like not one of the main, like, you're not one of the main players anymore. So it was that the basketball part, and then living together was, even though we had lived together in college, it wasn't the same, like, as now, like, you know, just talking about, like, bank accounts, like, you know, getting into all that, and, like, that's stuff that we always talked about, like, you know, just having one or something like that. But when you actually get down to it, that is, like, is stressful. Yeah. And I think my first year was hard, as being engaged and being married was hard, when I had to think of it of what he has was mine too. Like, he was always like, what I have is yours. Like, this is ours.
Y'all are one now.
But it was hard for me to think like that because I had always worked for everything. I was always paying for everything. In college, like, he would get the refund check from school. That would be gone in, like, 2 weeks.
Everybody's one.
Yeah, 1,000%. It was gone. But I was working in college, so I had money. But it didn't bother me because he was playing basketball. When did he have time to work?
Right, yeah.
But then, so just not having my own was, like, it was uncomfortable. Yeah. Even though he didn't make it uncomfortable, and he made it as easy as whatever I needed, like, just, you know, let him, like, how we communicated through it was easy, but for me personally, it was hard at first. So so that was the hard, and it's just so drastic too. Yeah. Like, the NBA to college, and then, like, thank God I was, like, surrounded. Like, the team, the organization was great. Like, the women were great. Like, it wasn't no drama or nothing like that. Yeah. And it was real low key. Like, it was not like Basketball Wives.
Yeah. Now, was sports something that you were also interested in? Like, how did you?
Right. Like, in college, like, I worked with, like, sports. Yeah. Did sports marketing and stuff like that. So even when I was in Utah, I was like, maybe this was something. But the hours.
Girl.
Yeah. Like, when I used to do baseball or, like, baseball games, okay, all day, and it's just like, and then it's just, I don't know. With Jarrell's lifestyle, it's really hard to have, or Jarrell's career is really hard to have a traditional career. Yeah. Because we're always moving. We've been in a different place, like, almost every year. And it's just, like, different country, different time zone. Yeah. When we were in New Zealand, we're like a whole day ahead of everyone. Really? So it's like, what job, when he's probably still asleep right now. Like, what can I really do that's gonna work? Unless it's working for myself, you know? So, but then it's like, you can be a real estate agent, you can do all that, but if you're really not into it, like, you're not into it.
You're not into it, and don't try to force it.
Exactly.
Like,
and I did for a while. Like, what am I gonna do, right?
Yeah.
Like, what am I gonna do? I did grad school. Like, why am I doing this? Like, is this, am I just doing it because there's a void? Because I've always been doing something and now I just can't sit down.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's been interesting.
So let's get into motherhood.
Yeah.
Because that's like a huge change.
Yeah, it is.
On top of course, like everything you just said. But like, how has that like changed Alisha, right? Like even just mindset wise, physically, like how has that changed?
So in college, I dealt with, and before college, I dealt with depression and anxiety. But as soon as I got pregnant, I knew that I tried to prevent from having postpartum depression. I don't think you can really prevent yourself from doing that, but I just was like trying to teach myself, like, you know, and Gabrielle has changed my life completely. Like, I don't think the way that I used to, and not like, and it's like natural. It's, I just am so much more, I'm not an overthinker.
Do you think that's more so because like you're trying to be great for her, or is like that's something you were like planning to prevent, like you said?
Yeah, I think it's just like she has brought me so much, like, they don't know stress yet.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
And like, and then I think as a mother, and sometimes being by myself, it's just like a lot of things are not gonna go. I don't really plan much. That's the thing too.
Yeah.
I don't plan. Can't tell you what I'm doing next week really, because so much can change. Right. And I think like if you plan to go to Target with your kid and they are acting a fool and they're just tired and they really need a nap, but you really want to go to Target, in that moment, I'm gonna choose to just stay home.
Right.
And I'm okay with it. Like sometimes it gets annoying, like, but I just choose to pick peace over like whatever else you know what I mean? Just try to keep myself, like I barely get upset with her because I understand her age. Right. I understand like I would never put my hands on her just because it's like, she's a kid. You got to learn, you got to teach them, right? And so like I just have this patience that I did not have before. Yeah. Patience. And so she's completely changed that, and just, I don't know. And then like I can look at her and she's just like her dad, and her dad has changed me and being like just not careless at all, not careless, but just not overthinking and like
just kind of a little free.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah.
What would you say like you've learned maybe about yourself after having Gabriella? That
I'm actually not. I've always thought I was gonna, like, I was made to be a mom, and I was always the mom in the group. Yeah. But no. It's completely different. Like being the mom, like that should not even be a saying. Yeah. Being the mom in your friend group is not the same as being a mother. Like,
right, in real life.
No, because it's like, it's changed me in a way of like staying on my toes a little bit more too, and like really thinking things out, and like being better with like doctor's appointments and stuff like that. Like I grew up like we went to the doctor, something was wrong, but like preventive care, that has changed me. And just like, just like motherhood has changed me too. And then it's just like, a lot of times I'm around mothers, like especially like in New Zealand, was around so many mothers, but now I'm home and none of my friends have kids. And it's not like that's a problem. I'm always like, take your time. Yeah. Don't rush. But there are things that only mothers can understand. And you do not realize that until you're a mom. And you have empathy for people, but you understand it differently when you're a mom. And I think like that is like one thing that like I struggle with sometimes, just like not having that like close bond mother friendship with someone
to relate to.
Yeah.
That understands.
But
yeah. Do you want more kids in the future?
Well,
is this something we're looking forward to?
Yeah. So I'm pregnant right now. I'm 5 months pregnant. Yeah. It was, so we knew we wanted more. We know we want more. And we have been trying for we were trying for a few months, and it was not happening. And it was so discouraging because you're just like, what is wrong? Like, why is it not happening? but then it's just like timing is like everything too. And it's just like, and then it's like trying can be really stressful. Then you start thinking about all the women that it takes like years before they actually go see a doctor to see what is wrong. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, so yeah, I'm 5 months pregnant. If it's a girl, I don't know about the third, going for number 3, but if it's a boy, I could go for a third one. But I just like can't. 3 girls sounds like a lot. So 2 already sound like a lot. Right. So yeah, but yeah, maybe more than what we have now.
Yeah. Well, congrats.
Thanks.
I love that for you. What have you experienced from traveling that's changed your viewpoint or kind of just impacted your life in general?
Yeah. Number one, like first thing that comes to mind, we're so spoiled here in America. We're so spoiled. And we don't, and even like it's just so many things that are just so convenient here. You go on like Uber Eats and Grubhub and all that is everywhere, like everywhere. But there might not be as many options as we have here. You know what I mean? Like and it's just like the instant, like we can get everything. Amazon. To like, I mean, we expect things to be there at the door right then and there.
So would you say, I know you said New Zealand, right? Yeah. So would you say you like the U.S. better? Like, because I feel like it's opposite.
So when I was there, I love it. It's that's the difference. It's so safe there. Like in New Zealand, so safe. And even like in Russia, like I was so fearful to go there, but like the people are great. Like it's not what we're thought to think about Russia either. And so like I think one thing that traveling has changed my viewpoint is just like you have to experience everything on your own. Just like you got to experience Miami on your own for your own. You can have so many different vibes, you know what I mean? And so it's just like traveling has just changed my like just go with an open mind. And it's just like when I compare like New Zealand, I loved it. It was so safe. It was beautiful weather. Beach. I mean, I could walk to the beach every single day, and it was just like the people were great. The food, you know, you can trust it. Not, you know, it's just like
no, I feel that, yeah.
But yeah, but traveling has changed a lot, and it's been great. But there's also a comfort in being in. I say that we're spoiled, but I also know I'm spoiled in the sense of like just comfort and convenience, and so there is a comfort in being in the States for sure.
Well, at least like with traveling, like you are able to adapt more, right? You're adjusting, you are quick on your feet. So now you kind of know how to move, right?
Right.
What was it like? Because I remember you posting, I feel like, on social media. What was it like when you took Gabriella on your first like plane ride?
Yeah.
Like, what was that moment?
I don't even remember the first one because she was so good at traveling.
Oh, good.
Like so good. Yeah. Now when I went to Russia, I went by myself with Gabriella, and I think she was 7 months. It was harder then because that travel is like 26 hours transferring planes. Like it was harder than that. And then TMI, but my period started on the second flight. And I'm like, what is going on here? Like I gotta do all this right now. But Gabriella, and that's the thing, Gabriella is wild, but she, like, for me, she just knows. Yeah. She knows me. And so she's, like, really good at just being, like, so Gabriella, I always tell moms, like, don't be scared to take your kid on a flight. Like, just be well-prepared. So I'm always, like, well-prepared, like, bottles, snacks, I mean, TV, toys, everything that she needs, like, I got it. Outfits, like you need like 25 outfits, like, but yeah, so Gabriella's great with traveling. And now with 2, I don't know.
Girl,
that's gonna be different. That's gonna be
another story.
That might be like we getting in the car, but that's another thing. Like Gabriella's not good in the car. We drove to Atlanta. Wow. Yeah, no.
Backwards.
But I can kind of understand that because like for us, car rides are okay because you can get up whenever you want, like you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. But for her, she's got to be in the car seat, But you got to just plan right, like maybe drive at night, so they can sleep. But
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to pivot into why we're here.
Yes.
Right. We're doing the podcast. What was the moment like where you was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. Like I know I can do it. Yeah. What was that, and what made you want to start it?
Yeah. So I've always loved journalism, and I always knew that people were interested in what I had to say in a way. Not like people are obsessed or anything like that. Yeah. It's just that people do listen.
They do.
And I always ran away from that. And so I wanted to do this because I experienced so much in life and have met so many amazing people, and I just want to bring their stories out, and that's just kind of what it is. And it's like, if only one person listens, I'm okay. Like, I'm just doing what is in my heart, and that's like the best way to to start anything, I believe. Like, and so that's how we came up, and I knew I didn't want to do this on my own because I've done so many projects by myself. Yeah. And I can't do that anymore. I'm way too stretched thin. Like, I am a single mom sometimes when Jarrell is not with me. And I have my mom that helps me, that makes everything possible. Especially when Jarrell's not here, just making me able to like go out and do things like this. Yeah. But so we're here, and I reached out to Faith to help me, and now we just are building a team. Yeah. So now it's great. It's awesome.
Yeah. I think platforms like this are good because I, for one, love to storytell. I love having a good conversation. Right. So like I said earlier, I was very happy to see, because I feel like you wrote me like 2 years ago on Instagram. When I
messaged you to come and do this, I saw the message of like, hey, I'm gonna start a podcast, and that was like 2 years ago,
2021.
And I'm pretty sure that I just like messaged you because I knew I wanted to do it, and I'm like, if I just at least like message some, like if I at least start, then it'll happen. But no, if I'm doing it by myself, that's another reason why I had to work with somebody else on this, because if I'm doing it by myself, I would have already quit. I would have quit last night. Yeah. Because I'm so nervous, and you don't have anybody there to like tell you like, it's good, like you're good. But yeah.
Yeah. I love that. So how would you say this podcast relates to your background?
Yeah. Just wanting to tell stories. I think people's stories are so important, and so many people have so much to say. Yes. And just like the topics that we are going to bring to the show is just like, will help anybody. You can relate to it. And we will have guests on the show for the episodes, but it will be related to a topic, and people can take from that, you know, and most of the people that we will have, I have personal connections with throughout from my life. Yeah. And so just bringing their stories to life, and because I think with social media, we think only one kind of person can tell the story, or like, you know, you got to look a certain way, but everybody has a story, and it's like really interesting.
We all experience so many things. Oh, I just love this. Yeah. I feel like we experience so many things, and like, I didn't know all of this, right? I knew surface level, but I didn't know like everything. Yeah. So I feel like when we share our stories, there's always something we can take away from it, or someone can learn from. I always say that, like, everyone has a story to tell, and I feel like even if it's something very, very simple, maybe to us, or you know, maybe not as simple to them, the person telling it, like, we can always take something from it. So being that said, what do you want like your listeners to take away from this podcast?
Number one thing is like, your life matters in the sense of like, whatever your story is, whatever you want to do, that matters. And like, don't conform to like just like what everybody else is doing or what you think you should be doing, because I did that to myself a lot of times too. And it's just like, especially for me, if you go on just the surface level of what I am, a wife, a mom, a basketball wife, is that people can come up with their own stuff from just that. Right. So I just want people to think more, that people have more in them than just like from what we see. Yeah. For when people allow them to see too. Like, you might see a married couple, you're like, they're so perfect, but we can get into it a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, there's more to people. I think that's the number one thing.
Yeah, for sure. Right. Are there any like specific topics that you want to tell us about now that we can expect?
I think like there's so many. One for sure, like life after college, and like two sides of it. Yeah. Like the successful side, like you get out and you're just like boom.
Yeah. Some people got it like that. I'm still
shout out to Taylor, right? Because he's always had a job.
Yes, Taylor. Yeah, Taylor, he's killing it.
And then the other side of it, you thought it was going to be one way. You did the internships. You did all this stuff, but you're still like, I'm still here. Yeah. And then you're just like, you got to make money. You don't want to live with your parents again. You know, you go through that. So that's one topic. And then just like, we're going to touch a little bit on mental health and stuff, and like how to help the younger generation. Because I think right now we're like, someone unfortunately like commits suicide, we're like, we didn't know. How do we help you before that even happened? So like getting into with like school counselors and stuff like that. But we have wide range.
I love it.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you like you like to say
right now
to get us prepared for I guess what else is to come of this podcast?
I think Life with Alisha, the podcast, is just like a general like just experience. I almost feel like there's where we want to do like events, we want to do like on the podcast we're just talking, we're having genuine conversation, and that's the main important thing. And we want to just let that build outside of just like the computer. You know, because I feel like that's my other good thing about me too, is just like I want to connect with people and like be out in the community and stuff like that. So just like building beyond that. And I, I think there'll be a lot of exciting things coming up.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for you. Like I said earlier, I'm very happy to see this come to life for
you.
Thank you. Because 2 years ago, we know, in the DMs, I was waiting. I'm
you
like,
did? Oh, I'm sorry. When I read that, I'm like, wow, like, good. And then it's just like, good for you, Alisha, because you're actually really doing it now. But and sometimes just timing, like, you know what I mean? And it's just like, I don't know, it just worked out perfectly now. So I'm just rolling with it. As much as fear I have about this, which I don't even know why, I just have it. I feel like I have imposter syndrome sometimes. And it's just like, and it's just like when you put yourself out there, you give people the opportunity. Like the same thing with Jarrell, like with basketball. During games and stuff, I unfortunately look at comments and tweets, and I'm always like ready to like talk to random people that have like 0 followers, but I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, and so it's just like when you put yourself out there, you're giving people an opportunity to say something about you. So there's fear in that too, and opinions, but that's just life. And people do that naturally.
Right. And I was gonna say, I feel like as we get older, that's gonna come.
Yes.
You know,
right.
I feel like me years ago, I was always scared. I was scared to put myself out there. But like now it's like, if you really genuinely like want to do something, who honestly cares? Truly.
Literally.
Like, you're not writing a check. You know, like who cares? Yeah. It really doesn't matter. But fear is natural, so I totally understand that. But I'm very happy, like I said, to see this come to life. I thank you for letting me be a part.
Thank you for being here.
And we thank you guys for joining us in the first episode.
Thank you, Karina. All right, talk to y'all later.
Bye, guys. How was that?
Woo!
Good, girl. That was good. Yeah.